So this is who I am now, take two. And my name is Jane Jackson. And I felt very much called to start a series of lives, inviting some of my fellow awakening buddies to come on so that we could share this is who we are now, because we've been going through this journey of transformation. We've been going through this believe process, the believe releasing process as documented by Olivia and Raf Akanya from Fifth Dimensional Earth. Now, I'm aware that it might make us sound all a little bit strange, like we're some part of a cult. It's not. This is a God-given process that was channeled to Olivia and Raf as a way of helping to release all of the fear-based memories, to relabel them to love. Because when we move from that place of fear and move to love, our vibration rises. And as our vibration rises, we are able to shed the layers of conditioning that we have taken on throughout our physical life and step into the person that we agreed to be when we chose to come into this physical life here and now. Now, apparently what I shared before was really quite insightful, and I've got no idea what I said, so bear with me now. So I started off, when I started my business, and we're talking about over 4 years ago now, I've gone through many different transformations since then in terms of who it is that I work with, what I'm doing. Most people who follow me know me as someone who does emotional freedom technique. Now, it's not a technique that I do now. It's not a technique that I share with individuals. And the reason for that being that emotional freedom technique is great. It works really well, but it works on a conscious level, and it doesn't really get down into unblocking some of those memories that have become locked and hidden. So if I was to continue sharing, working with clients and only using emotional freedom technique, it feels like I'm not giving them the full access and benefit of what it is like to become spiritually awakened. And I'm still going through the process myself. But what it has meant for me is that growing up, there were many, many memories from childhood that had been locked, and they were locked to protect me, to provide safety for me, because the memories, the experiences were so horrific that it could have broken me as a child, I guess. So these memories were locked to protect me. But what that meant growing up was that I was still reacting and responding to the emotional vibration of these memories that I had no access to. And it played out in my adult life through addictions, through mental health problems, and all sorts of unwanted behaviors. Now, I've been on a journey of recovering from the childhood trauma for 30 odd years, and that's a long time. It's a long time. And I know that one of the reasons that I needed to go through this lengthy journey of recovery was because things were being revealed to me bit by bit by bit by bit. And I know that that was a requirement for my journey to really understand how I could heal every single part of me, but more importantly, how I could then be a proficient healer for those that I'm working with. So one of my specialities is working with adults who know that something big happened to them in their childhood, but they've got no memory, but they are aware that it's still playing out very much in their adult lives. And I've been able in the past to work with them using emotional freedom technique and helping them to not re-traumatize themselves through the process. But now using the Believe Awakening process, the releasing process, I'm able to work on a deeper spiritual level. So I now have a very strong relationship with my own higher self, who has been able to unlock some of those memories that were hidden for me for so many years. And having this deeper relationship with my higher self and being able to unlock, release, and relabel some of these memories has meant that my vibration has, when I started on this process last September, my stored vibration, my stored high vibration was around 22%, something like that, so not very high at all. I'm now at a stored high vibration of around about 80%. That's massive. And the impact that it has had on my physical health as well as my emotional health has been tremendous. So one of the abilities that has been unlocked for me as my high vibration has increased is that I'm now able to connect with non-physical guides, something that I never thought I would be able to do. And I have been in communication, sorry, it's kind of downloading as I'm speaking. So I've been in communication with Abraham, the ascended soul. So many of you might know Abraham through the collective consciousness that works with Esther and Jerry Hicks when he was alive. My guide at the moment is the ascended soul of Abraham, and the ability that he has enabled me to unlock is sharing emotional and physical energy healing with others in a group and on a one-to-one basis, and really enabling me to get in touch with these energy tokens that he describes as diamonds within my inner being. And I don't want to get into too much detail about what that is, but needless to say that those who have who are experiencing the emotional and physical healing within the group that I'm running at the moment are having incredible results and really feeling the power of that energetic connection. So what I'm able to do now, what I am going to be doing is sharing those practices for anyone on a weekly basis starting the second week in June. But I'm also available to work with people on a one-to-one basis to help them on their own releasing journey, to really get in touch with the truth of what it is that's holding them back. And because one of the things I've always had the ability to do is that when I've worked with people, whether it's through coaching or emotional freedom technique, is when we've been trying to explore why they've been stuck or why they've been held back. And they've said, oh, this happened, but it's really not a problem. I've dealt with it. I've released it. I've always been able to tune in and know exactly what it is that's been holding them back, even when they haven't spoken of it, and even when they've it's had to take a while for them to catch up. Because one of the things that I don't do as a practitioner is, when I have the insight of there's something deeper to this person's situation, is I don't share it with them until they're ready for that to be revealed themselves. And I think that's a really important point to make, because I think that's one of the things that worried me a lot about my own awakening journey. Was I going to be unlocking memories that I couldn't deal with? They only ever become revealed when you are ready to heal them, when you are ready to release them. It's always led by your higher self, and it's never a case that someone forces you to unlock memories that you cannot handle. I hope that makes sense. So enough about me. I want to introduce you to these lovely people on the panel that I have with me. They've all been through the Believe Releasing process, and that's how we've met. So first of all, I would like to introduce and welcome Emily. So Emily, if you could unmute yourself.
Hey, yes, I've unmuted myself.
Brilliant. So Emily, could you just share a little bit about your own journey and what it is that you're doing now, or who you are now?
So thank you again for inviting me onto this with an extra push, because I don't think I would have come had you not messaged me again. Thank you for that. And I'm really here to prove that we've all got to start somewhere. I think sort of 6 months ago, I would have said I was a very successful massage therapist. And I did EFT as well, but always face to face. And consequently, coronavirus has closed everything down, and my treatment room is looking beautiful, but with nobody in it. And I've had to really ask, who the hell am I now? And this has been very insightful, and I have spoken to my higher self about this. And I know, having had an Akashic reading actually with Raf during the Believe course, I was very lucky. I was able to find out about a past life, and very much working with a specific energy that is going to come to me, predominantly to start with through touch, but I have been told I will not need to do it with my client there, and I can do it virtually. So that's something exciting to look forward to. I always felt that with my clients, I am an enabler. When I used to teach children in preschool, I was a childminder. I've worked at an acquired brain injury unit where I became a tutor. And it's very much about showing people how they can do things themselves. And I've always been really drawn to find out how people can do it themselves, how I can give people exercises, ways of stretching in between their sessions. And also, I really think that unless people go in to do things themselves and find a way themselves, they don't really get to where they want to get to. if somebody's always helping them, then they'll always ask for that help. The Believe course itself was just phenomenal, and I have to say, the 30-day challenge, which we only finished a few, is it days ago? I don't know, but that was phenomenal, and a lot of connection again with tuning with my higher self, who is phenomenal, who does know what to say at the right time. It's just been amazing. But who I am now, I've suddenly realized that I can talk to people over the telephone and allow them to feel so much better in themselves. Apparently I ask the right questions. I can get them to release things that they didn't know they needed releasing, but just feel amazing afterwards. I'm here to help other people shine. And I think before, when I was working with a lot of clients every week. I quite often didn't even have a Sunday off, because to me, I needed to earn the money to pay the bills. Well, I've got no money coming in apart from what the government are providing for me, which is, you know, I'm very grateful for. But it's taken all the pressure off.
Yeah.
It's allowed me to look after me and look at the clouds, look at the bees, wander through and take the dog for a walk every day. I was lucky if I was doing that once a week. So I am incredibly grateful for this time. I would not have been able to do what I've been able to do. And I'm very excited for the future. I know, Bryony, you spoke earlier about being the science and needing the science. I don't need the science. I am completely and utterly a feeler. I'd rather not know the intricacies of how things work. As long as they work, doesn't worry me. But I do have to say, somebody like Bruce Lipton, who is a scientist, and how he has told us the energy is just, it's there, it's so important. And I'm now getting it in a really big way, and noticing energy in myself, noticing energy around me, and how we can all harness it, whoever you are, for the good, to help you, to be positive. And again, I'm just so grateful.
Yeah.
So here I am at the beginning of a journey of, I don't know where it's going to go, but excited.
Thank you, Emily. And I think one of the things that really struck me over the last couple of days was because I really wanted you to be one of the, oh, lovely dog, bless him, so big. I really wanted you to be one of the first guests on this episode, because you are an amazing healer. And I think the experience that you had the other day shows that you don't need to be a hands-on healer in order to be able to help people to shift, release energy and vibration, and to make them feel better.
Well, it's great, isn't it? And
it is. It's amazing. It's amazing. So now it's like, who cares how long this lockdown goes on for? We can still do our energy work.
But I've never thought of myself as a healer. I remember doing Reiki years ago, and I had a real issue with calling it Reiki healing. So I talk about, you know, the Reiki energy, and I am actually now happy to call myself a healer, which is a massive thing for me, absolutely massive. But also just knowing that, you know, my business was called Intention, and it's all about the intention for all of us. And I can't believe it fits. I don't know where that came from. my higher self. Of course I know.
Yes, yes.
I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
great. So Emily, if anyone who's watching this and really feels drawn to your energy and would love to work with you, even during the lockdown, how do they go about getting in touch with you?
So you can find me at Intention. I call myself, I think my website is intentiontherapy.co.uk, but yeah, you'll be able to find me. My name, Emily Papirnik, is very unusual.
Okay, and you have a Facebook page as well, do you?
Again, that's called at Intention Therapy.
Okay, well, we'll share that in the comments box below later. Thank you so much, Emily. Really appreciate you joining us. Thank you. And Bryony, would it be a good time for you to come?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay!
Bella is busy, doing Bella things, eating crisps and watching my phone, which is
lovely.
Every mother's dream.
Lovely. So Bryony, when we did our first attempt at this Facebook Live, you shared beautifully about how this process of transformation, how it's helping you to connect with your clients in a very different way through movement. And I can't imagine that you'll be able to repeat it, but I just trust that your higher self is going to bring us something even better. So in your own words, would you like to share with us who you are now?
Oh, I can feel real
I know
technology fun happening with my internet. Anybody else feel that?
Yeah,
nice.
Energy freezing.
Yeah, I'm leaning, as you are, Jane, I'm leaning into the trust that it was really important that we did this the second time.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what I said the first time. Apparently it touched you guys, which is just lovely. So let's see what comes this time. So yeah, I just want to, again, thank you for having us. I think it's a really special group of 4 that we have here that you really lent into, Jane, for your first one. And it feels a little bit like, I don't know if any of the 3 of you feel that it feels a little bit like Michael Parkinson, This Is Your Life. I don't know why, but that's why I keep seeing this big red book. But it's kind of like, this is your life and how it's evolving, as opposed to this is what you have done all this time. So I have no idea what I shared before, but I think I started by talking about the idea that I'm very grateful to be here, because although I feel like there is heaps to come, and I know that there's only ever going to be more and more change, I think it's really important that we're stepping up and saying, this is us now, this is me, this is how I am during this process of change, because the truth is that the change never ends. So if you wait until you have everything just as you want it to be, the universe is giggling a little bit and saying, oh, when you get there, it will all be different anyway. So yeah, I think it's really important to see us all kind of during the process, as well as when we finally feel like we have it all figured out, which I think we would all say that is just definitely not where we are. So who am I? Well, I am definitely a mummy to Bella, who is 2, and she very much rocked my world 2 years ago in a lovely way, but in a you're going to have to do things differently to how you have been used to doing them. I didn't realise that I was so much of a control freak until I was gifted a toddler who, you very much have to learn how to surrender and have to free flow, and you have to get very good at drawing yourself back to balance, because they are so good at it. And I often say that she's like my Yoda. She teaches me so much in a really, I want that to be a really non-contrite way, but she's such a gift. But how would I describe me other than being a mummy? Well, science has always been a really big thing for me. I've got a degree in biological sciences. I was a scientist at school. I was really importantly kind of drawn to details and how things work at a cellular level. And I suppose that still comes with me today. I then became a massage therapist, and then a Pilates teacher. Because when I was being a massage therapist, which I still do now, I felt like there was more I had to give, and I still feel like that as a Pilates teacher. And I often say to my beautiful clients, you know, you get a very different Pilates teacher with me. I like the fact that I'm not by the book. I like the fact that I bring other elements in, because I believe passionately that you know, our vibrational health is the underpin of everything, and it's our life's work. It's what draws us to who we truly are. And I believe, in fact, in the weeks leading up to this, and Jane posted in Facebook, you know, does anybody want to be a part of my first panel? And I replied so excitedly, and I think I was more excited about the idea of it than actually being on the panel. And that excitement came because this week I have been really being lent towards stepping into my truth and who I truly am, and accepting how special I am and how unique I am. And I think it's unraveled a lot of things around self-worth for me, but I think this is a part of where I'm going. That I passionately believe that we all have a unique light, that we can all offer something. We do all offer something that only we can offer. And the only way to heal the world and to heal humanity is for each of us to step into our truth and be all that we are. And so I passionately believe that that is a role that I'm going to play for people. And yes, I do that through movement. I'm passionate about movement, but to me, movement has always been more than burning calories and building muscle. It's always been about connecting to self and tuning in and finding the light that is within, and maybe releasing some of the other things that are in the way of you really shining your light. And I think, you know, my journey is that I came from a very scientific route. I ended up doing psychology at university, but the route into psychology was very much biological, let's put it that way, anatomical. And I was the person who didn't believe in woo-woo. I was the person who, you know, thought essential oils were just smelly nonsense. I was the person who didn't believe that meditation was anything. I thought that, you know, this was it. Life was as it was, this physical existence. So for me to be going down the path that I am, I really feel like that is to say to people, hey, even if you are walking the path that I was, there is somewhere else that you can go from there, you know, if you're drawn to. Because if I can believe in spirituality, if I can live spirituality, if it can seep into every second of every day that I live, then certainly there is no one else out there who can't, because I came very much from a disbelieving, disconnected place. And I believe that movement was my journey. Movement definitely helped me, and massage therapists, like hands-on with people. I was very aware that when I was massaging people, I could connect into where their what I would say physical tensions were. Now I know that they're potentially something more than that, but at the time I would say that I was very much, I used to say my hands are guided, you know, and I used to joke about it, but I was taken to sources of pain. So I was very much a physical, and again, Emily, I had issues with the word healer. I was very much a physical releaser. And so massage and having my hands on and trusting that instinct helped me to develop, for sure. But movement for me very much turned me inwards. It brought me to meditation. But I would say the thing that cracked me open even more so, because I desperately believe that the movement I teach not only impacts your transitional day-to-day vibration and how you feel, enabling you with tools to draw you back to balance, to help you to look at maybe some of the stuff that you're finding harder to balance, and to realize that that is, like Jane was talking about, maybe something deeper down that needs to be looked into. But for me, the beautiful doTERRA pure essential oils that came into my life were an absolute gift, because they cracked me open like nothing else could have done. This was a person who wanted essential oils in their life because I wanted my house to smell nice. I was drawn to the idea of replacing my medicine cabinet and my cleaning products with something less synthetic, because being the scientist, I knew what some of those ingredients were and I didn't want them around me. And I think on some intuitive level, I was realizing the impact of that on my vibration, on how well my cells were working. So I wanted more natural products in my life for sure, but I had no idea of the impact upon my emotional well-being and my spiritual health. They cracked me open. They showed me things that I didn't even know existed. And then they provided me with the tools to face them, to give me the strength to look deeper in. You know, there are definitely essential oils that I've been using to help me release, to help me draw back to balance. I mean, one of them is called balance. It's like shouts at you. You know, there are oils that can connect you to the truth of who you are. The strength of who you are is a big one for me. That was one of the first ones to really light up. Like I have this insatiable belief that I'm stronger, that there's more in the tank, that there's more to offer. And that is just like a knowing. Okay. And then there are oils that can open you up to love, which was a big one for me, and trust, which is one I'm still battling with. And there's an oil that can literally open you up to the light of who you are. And so these are oils that I've definitely been using, you know, throughout this process, and will continue to use, because everything is energetic, right? Everything is vibrational. So if you're reaching towards, and I would encourage you to reach towards, you know, if you're interested in essential oils, come and see me, because there are a lot out there on the market, but you're wanting something pure because you want that vibration. The highest vibrating thing out there of the plant world is rose. So if you reach towards rose essential oil, you can literally put it on you and it can shift your vibration, because you are going to, like attracts like, right? It's gonna stir up what you need to let go of. Rose is definitely one that I use to open my heart, for sure. And the analogy I used, which will be the last thing I share, which came to me the other day when I was teaching Pilates, is the bottle of water. So we all are a bottle of water, and we all have bits floating around at the bottom, and those bits have come from the life that we have experienced. And you can continue to drink out of the bottle of water, and you might not, you know, get the bits because they're all kind of settled at the bottom, especially if you're ignoring them, if you're avoiding looking at them and you're numbing away, which was my experience. I hope you can see me. The sun is pouring in here. I'm going to tilt me this way a bit. Beautiful sunshine, thank you. And yeah, but what I say that my movement and my essential oils do is kind of shake up that bottle a bit. And that might feel really impactful. And I've had clients, Pilates clients, say to me, I felt strange after your class, you know, and these are emotions that are coming up for you to guide you into what you can release, you know, because only when that bottle is shaken up can you then scoop out the bad stuff and then go back to the pure truth of who you are. So yeah, I feel like that's my story. I feel like that was something like what I said before, but nothing really like I said before.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. And reminded me that the power of rose oil. And I had this experience last year. I was working with a friend to help her release some of her fears about going to doctors. So I was working with her on an energetic level, but she was also a doTERRA oil representative. So when I accompanied her to the hospital to have some investigations into a lump in her breast, she was putting the rose oil on both of us, and I was tapping and setting intentions that every person we met in the hospital met us with love, with respect, and without judgment, because at the time she wanted to very much be in control as to what might happen when a diagnosis was confirmed, and she was fearing about the judgment that some of the oncologist practitioners, you know, might have. We walked out of, a few hours later, we walked out of the hospital and we looked at each other and we were like, what just happened? Everyone was so kind, compassionate, respectful, nothing like the experience that you would expect from going into a kind of NHS hospital where they're very medical focused. Where, you know, she was sharing, no, I need to take a holistic approach to my health, and they're like, yeah, that's okay, that's whatever's right for you. It was amazing. So yeah, the power of those oils with the energetics and intention is phenomenal. So thank you for sharing, Bryony. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, how what's the best way?
Okay, so when I talk about shining my light and waking up other people's light, what I really need in my life is somebody who, you know, does social media. I do have a Facebook page. I do have a website. I can put it in the comments. But yeah, it's not where my forte lies.
Me neither. I haven't had a website for years.
I think it's true of all of us. You know,
it's because I keep changing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's just it. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like I'm waiting until I know what to put on the website. Exactly.
Thank you so much, Bryony. So let's go over to Jenny now. Now, Jenny is coming to us all the way from Ireland. Sorry, I really shouldn't try and do an Irish accent. That was awful. I'm sorry.
Brilliant. That was amazing.
My husband has told me time and time again, never, ever do accents. I'm so sorry, Jen.
That was brilliant.
I think we know now why we had to record again, because you didn't do it.
Miss this moment.
So, sorry. So, Jenny, while I'm having hysterics, perhaps you'd like to share with us what it is that you're doing now, because I know it's very different to, you know, who you were a year ago, even 6 months ago.
Different.
Yeah.
So the first thing I have to do is I have to show you guys this. Is my little humidifier. It is blue. And blue is a color I really resonate with. So a little bit about me. So basically, who am I now is the topic for this gathering. And the wonderful Jane has brought us all together, and I anticipate a lot more of this happening. This is a really cool thing that we're doing right now. It feels very expansive. So who am I now? Well, I suppose the big thing that I'm doing now are Akashic readings. It's crazy to think that this is my life now. So I'm like, wow. You know, it's only even a couple of months ago, I never even imagined I'd be doing this. So it's amazing how things just unfold. But even saying that, actually, back in 2014, I did get the name of that's now the name of my company, which is Allowing Your Truth. I didn't know what it was back then. I just knew that it was at the time that it was significant, and I totally forgot about it until now. And it's very relevant to what I'm doing, because what I want to share with people is this idea of allowing your truth. And one of the ways, I'll probably do that in a few different ways, which I'm yet to, you know, reveal, or yet to be revealed to me even. But one of the ways I'm doing that right now is through Akashic readings. It is a really beautiful, fun, exciting thing to do. It's a way of allowing your truth. It's a way of connecting with the truth of you, and you do it through this reading with the Akashics. And the Akashics are essentially a record of all of the past life incarnations. It's this huge body of knowledge. And the guy in charge there is Archangel Richard. He's the one who takes care of that. And so he's my guide. And what I do is I connect with Richard, connect with my client, connect with Richard, and we go to the Akashics, and I receive all of this images and ideas and feeling. It's very much a feeling experience, and it's very much because of that whoever I'm working with gets a feel of what I'm also feeling. And that's what makes it different to anybody else, in the sense of who do Akashics, because very much a feeling experience, and I actually go to the Akashic, so I have access to the feeling in a different way. Oh, it's so exciting to be here. Yay. So yeah, I mean, it's a really beautiful thing. I get to see the truth of people. It's aligning themselves with their soul contract. It's showing them the truth of them. Oh, it's so amazing. People are amazing. I get this little insight into them. Like I did it with Jane.
Yeah.
And Jane's so cool. Like she's the thread that connects us all. Community was a beautiful theme that came up again and again throughout the lives that we visited. And it was really, you know, I mean, look at what we're doing. This is Jane who brought us all together. And Jane will continue to do this. And I just want to say, anybody watching who's like thinking about wanting to come on here and do this, it's more than just talking about where you are now. There's an energy in it, and actually I can feel it quite expansive. It's a sense of acceptance of who you are, stepping into who you are, and with that comes a strength. So that's where the expansion is. It's through the allowing of that kind of strength. So it's quite powerful.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing. Can you feel that?
I can feel it. I really can feel it. And your vibration is interrupting your internet connection as well.
Oh, can you even hear me?
In and out, in and out, in and out.
Oh well.
Basically, I mean, I was so fortunate to have a session with Jenny. It was a couple of weeks ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, quite a while now.
So it was a couple of weeks ago, and I've never had an Akashic reading before. Never had. Hi, Daddy. I'd never had anyone sort of read past lives or anything. I've had I love the dog. I've had a sense over the years of what my past lives might have been, and I also received a very strong connection, you know, out of the blue with Joan of Arc, and I know that was confirmed with Olivia and Raf, that I was indeed Joan of Arc's healer and closest confidant. So I wasn't really knowing what to expect when I had the session with Jenny. And I think there was part of me that, you know, really wanted to, I want some famous lives to be revealed. That's not what it's like, you know. It's not. There is beauty and there is power in the everyday, ordinary lives. And some of the lives that were shown to me, you know, they weren't anyone famous, but they were community spirited, they were leaders, they were natural healers, they were individuals who had an infinity with nature. And when Jenny was reading this to me, it just felt like this confirmation of, this is who I really am. Yes, one of the last life that she read to me, you know, I was a queen, which was great, but it was the ordinary lives, I guess, that really helped to connect to that truth and that power within me, and that confirmation that yes, I'm a healer and I'm a leader and I'm a community maker in this life, but I have been for many lives before, and it's something that my soul will bring me back to again and again, because this is where I can shine. This is where I can help to do my part to transform humanity. So thank you, Jenny, for your gifts, for what you bring. Really just so incredibly grateful. So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, Jenny?
Probably my website, allowingyourtruth.weebly.com, and I'll leave further contact details with you. Wonderful.
So if Bryony and Emily, if you'd like to unmute yourselves and we can say goodbye, And I hope that people have been watching us. I haven't been able to look at any comments because I was so worried about, you know, stopping doing whatever we were doing. So thanks for watching. And if you've got any questions for any of us, please do pop them in the comments box and we will answer you as and when we can. Thanks for watching. This is Who I Am Now. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye. Bye.